We've now moved the code that gives our application access to data into a separate service. In this part, we'll add navigation into our application, since at this point, the application is just a collection of standalone screens. When looking on the internet for MVVM-related questions, a question I often see people asking is, how do I add support for navigation in my MVVM application? And secondly, where do I place that navigation code? Let's start thinking about that second question for a second. Looking at the MVVM architecture we have so far, where should we add navigation code really? Should it go in the view? Should it go in the model, or should it rather go in the view model? Well, I believe that it's easy to understand that the model has nothing to do with navigation, so that definitely won't be the place to put it. The view code would be a valid candidate, since navigation is really view related. We want the main page of the application to change. While that is true, it is going to be difficult to have the navigation code as part of the view, since most of our functionality has been moved into the view model. So, will the view model then be the place to place our navigation code within? Well, the answer is yes and no. Yes, it's the view model that is going to initiate navigation. No, since it's view-related code. Let me explain. We have already said that the view model exposes state and operations, so properties to bind on as well as commands for reacting to a UI event. Well, there is actually a third role that the view model has to play in an MVVM architecture, and that is directing the flow of the application. Indeed, the view model is going to be the part of the code that says, okay, now this has happened, now we need to do that next. So when a command is triggered, it will be the view model that dictates what needs to happen next. This could be navigating to a different screen or showing a dialog. So the view model will say what needs to happen. However, the view model should remain as simple as possible. We should avoid bringing in a dependency on UI into our view model code. When we bring in navigation code, won't that be a problem then? The answer is, we'll create a separate service that encapsulates all the logic around navigation. And we'll introduce that into our view model. This service knows about the nitty details on how to actually do navigation, and it has the dependencies on the UI and view code. The view model gets access to this service and uses it to direct the flow of the application. This way, our view model remains simple and clean.